Is how to layer the quilt. So you want to be sure that the bottom and the backing is nicely pressed, and you pull it out so it's nice and taut underneath. That way you don't have any of those wrinkles.
Yes.
No, we've all had those. And then I start in the middle and start pinning. This one I've already done quite a bit of the pinning. But I try to put all the pins in before I clip them, because if you clip them first, they tend to torque a little bit.
Yeah.
Then this is my favorite toy. It's called a quick clip. It's got these 3 ridges. So then you can just balance your pin on one of those ridges and quickly clip it so that you don't end up with blood on your quilts.
Yes. Our fingertips.
Or your fingertips, yep. So I think I've got all that. Do you find one?
Right there. Yeah, your hand was just on there.
Oh, thank you. Because you know your hand's going to find it otherwise, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I can show you the process of, have any of you done free motion quilting?
I've tried it in a while. Not successfully.
Okay. So the first thing you do is put your feed dogs down. So now the machine is not pulling the fabric through. You are in charge, totally in charge. So the stitch length, where it's going, everything is up to you. And I find it's useful. I have a speed regulator on my machine, so I put the speed where I want it, and then when I'm quilting, I can just put my foot down on the pedal.
Okay.
And don't have to think about that at all. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is bring up the bobbin thread. Now, I'm sure none of you have had that nest of stuff if you don't hold your thread. Just in case.
Think of it.
Yeah. Well, this keeps that from happening. So you pull up the bobbin thread, and did you see how that was? You know how to do that? Okay. And then you put it back in the same hole. Can you see okay? Okay. Okay, and then it's important to have gloves. There are a lot of good gloves, but you want to be sure you have something that fits tightly and has rubber on the fingertips. Now I'm going to do a couple stitches, and that's going to anchor them so that it won't pull out. And then I try to keep my hands about this far apart, and the fingers are what are going to move it. Okay. You've also got to be careful about fluffing the quilt up, because it can get caught on the edge, and if it drags, then you're going to have things that you don't like the way they look on your quilting. Okay, so now I'm just doing the loop pattern, which is this one right here with some flowers and some leaves in it. You try not to run over your pins. And I'm going to do a leaf here, up for the stem. Now the reason I chose flowers and leaves was because of this little fabric here.
Okay.
So when I try to figure out something that will match the fabric that I'm going with, and I didn't think I could do teddy bears. So I can do flowers and leaves though just fine. So.
Makes it look so effortless.
Yeah.
It's fun. I find it very relaxing, and yeah, it's fun. Any questions? No?
How do you decide when you're doing it so you don't want to end up in a corner somewhere and you're going?
Right. So you start in the middle and work your way around.
Okay.
Usually I try to work all the way out, and sometimes I travel along the edge of a quilt. And it's not a bad idea to put the edge down anyway, right? It's easier to put your binding on. So, yeah, usually I start in the middle and work out. Same as you would do with the pins, so it doesn't, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can show you some over here if you want to see.